on November 8th, 2021 at 6:01 PM. Will the secretary please take roll?
Senator Abrigo,
Present.
Senator Blickhan, Senator Burbach,
Present.
Senator Burnett,
Present.
Senator Byers,
Present.
Senator Kaysen,
Present.
Senator Chubukchu, Senator Demmerth,
Present.
Senator Francis,
Present.
Senator Ford,
Present.
Senator Gillis,
Present.
Senator Hens,
Present.
Senator Huang, Senator Holzhauser,
Present.
Senator Jack, Senator Jones,
Present.
Senator Lambert,
Excused.
Senator Obert,
Excused.
Senator Richards, present, Senator Shahan,
Present.
President Odell,
Present.
Vice President Pruitt,
Present.
Student Trustee Walters,
Present.
Financial Officer Beck,
Present.
Internal Affairs Officer Salau,
Present.
External Affairs Officer Randolph,
Present.
Organization Relations Officer Mormon,
Present.
Student Diversity Officer Gorin.
Present. Moving on to line item 3, guest speakers. We have 3 guest speakers joining us, all discussing different aspects of information technology on campus. We have Stephen Huffstiller, the Associate Vice Chancellor for ITS, Dan Chase, the Director and Deputy CIO for Network and Systems Infrastructure, and Jeff Price, the Manager of the ITS Help Desk. If you would please approach the Senate and sign in. You have 10 minutes to speak. If time runs short, I will entertain a motion for extension by 2 minutes, but the Senate is not required to respond. I will start a timer on my phone, which will begin now.
First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for inviting us here today. I think it's been a while since ITS has been at a student government meeting, so thank you very much. Jeff is passing out a few things. While he's passing it out, because we only had 10 minutes, and I know your time is valuable. I just wanted to start, I think I'll give a quick overview of the major divisions of ITS, just so you sort of know what we do, and then talk for a few minutes about some of the concerns that you had last time that you talked with us on the phone, and then give some information about some projects that will be impacting students and are impacting students right now, actually, that we're doing. So the major divisions in ITS are network and systems infrastructure, and they, work on the network. They work on wireless. They work on email. They work on systems and applications management. Dan is the director of that group. So pretty much a lot of the back end work that you see in IT, Dan's group does. And then we have university information systems. Every system that we have on campus has some link to Banner and gives student information, staff information, faculty information. That group actually handles all of those implementations, and they do all of the programming for that information. Then we have information security, and they investigate phishing attacks and scams, that sort of thing. And then we have academic and client services, which is really the front end of ITS. And that's smart classroom support, application support. So if you call and have a problem with Blackboard, you're going to be talking to someone in this group, either a administrator that works with Blackboard or an instructional designer that is going to help you with your classes. We have desktop support. We have the help desk, of course, which Jeff is the manager of, and then we have instructional design. So those are the big major divisions of ITS. I said this was going to be quick. So any questions about like the major divisions that anyone has?
I will now entertain a motion to open the floor for discussion. Senator Shahan,
I move to open the floor for discussion.
moved by Senator Shahan. Do we have a second? Senator Richards,
I second.
the floor is now open for discussion. Senator Shahan,
Thank you all for coming tonight. As just a kind of follow up to our meeting, I just had a quick question about progress on what your findings were with the locations that we discussed, as well as why student government wasn't alerted on that progress prior to, considering the fact that during that meeting, we were told that we would get some of those findings prior to the meeting to go over.
Okay, yes. We can actually, it actually took longer than we thought to actually get the information. So we're actually still working on some locations. First of all, in terms of wireless, we're always upgrading and expanding wireless. So this is almost a daily, weekly, monthly thing for us. So if someone actually finds a dead spot or a weak spot in wireless coverage somewhere, just call the help desk and let us know, and we'll go out and take care of it. That's what we do. But you've got to let us know, because you know, we don't always walk around in every corner of the campus all the time. So that's where your information is really important to us. But Dan is going to talk a little bit about the information that he found when he was investigating the concerns.
Is this working? Yeah. Okay. So specifically to the issues that were brought up during the call, I think I mentioned during that call that we had some software updates early in the fall semester that caused some problems on the network, and those were both related to the wireless network and to the core network. As far as those software updates are concerned, they're part of the delay and why we weren't able to get reporting back to you, because the tools from the manufacturer to give us some of the more advanced diagnostic tools for coverage weren't working, and they're now working. And so the pictures that I've circulated here, I've highlighted the coverage that were in the areas that we discussed. So Founders Hall, science buildings, and some of the residence halls. For us, they're really all, we're trying every day to get coverage where people need it. And so I've just circulated these examples. And the software patches that were needed got put in, and so far, so good. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Senator Holzhauser.
On the map that you sent out around to everyone, can you elaborate kind of, I didn't see a legend on there at all, how it's labeled and what that all means?
Okay, I'm circulating these just as an example of some of the tools that we use to get an idea and verify coverage. So they should have been labeled if you looked at room number detail, so you'd see like Founders Hall. I'm not circulating them as proof or evidence or anything. They're just examples. And so if you have specific questions, we can get into that. Does that help, or?
I was more referring to, like, do the colors on the map have any significance at all? Because I know there are like some that,
They do, but only to the network engineers at the time
Okay.
where they're troubleshooting. So
thank you.
the fact that there's colors on the pages that you see is good. If there was white, that would be major gaps.
Senator Gillis.
Hi, thank you for coming out. I was just curious, so for the EID system, the passwords, they're limited to 8 characters. Can you explain to me and everyone else why you think 8 characters is sufficient for a secure password, given the rampant phishing emails I'm seeing circulating around and how often they get past the filter? I feel as if we need a lot more than 8 characters.
We agree that 8 characters is not enough, and you'll be seeing extended character sets coming in the spring semester. We're working on getting the tools set up so that will work.
All right, thank you.
Internal Affairs Officer Salau.
Hi, I'm curious, since we have these maps, do you have a map of Cougar Village? You probably do. But are the routers as closely spaced together as those in Bluff Hole?
We do not have a map, and that's because the way that our tools work, they're not designed for 62 buildings that are right next to each other. So we struggle with the visualization for that, but they all are the same. So they're not as close together, and we're going to be putting more in. It's something that has evolved over time in Cougar Village. We've had to go through a couple of iterations over the years of trying to get things right.
So there's a plan to put more routers in Cougar Village.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
I was going to expand real quickly on your question. in addition to longer characters on the password, when we change that, you will also only have to change your password once a year instead of every 60 days, which is also a bonus. You get security and convenience.
Senator Shahan?
I just have one more question for y'all. If you could elaborate, I know in the meeting we, for a brief moment, discussed the phishing process and what students need to do should they receive an email with phishing. Could you just, for the record, so that we have it on Zoom for students to watch later, explain that process and kind of what students should do if they receive a phishing email or if their email has been compromised?
Okay. If you think that it's a phishing email that you've received, or, well, phishing phone call, phishing, any type of inquiry, the first thing would be, if you're not sure, you can contact us at the help desk. You can give us a call. You can email the help desk. You can email phishing@siue.edu, that's with a PH, and we can let you know if it's a phishing email. If you're not sure if it's a phishing email or not, almost every time it is. But if you contact us, we'll let you know whether it's a phishing email or not. If you've responded to somebody, if you've given somebody your information, the first thing is obviously going to be to change your password and then contact us. Different levels of what information they got or that you gave or whatnot is going to kind of decide what that next action is. If they got your username and password and we changed it right away, then we'll go in, we'll look, make sure there's no rules set up on your email to forward them your emails or anything like that. If you gave them access to another account, banking information or something like that, because that's really the end game. They don't want to read your email. If you gave them some more information, then there's probably going to be another step where you're going to want to contact somebody at that organization. And in those cases, I usually pass the students along to somebody from our security group who actually works with that more than I do to make sure that they can get all facets of your account locked down and secured. So really the number one thing is that first inkling of, I've got a question about whether this is real or not, reach out to us, give us a call, email us, and we'll let you know whether it's a legitimate email or not. And at the same time, if you have answered somebody, same answer, contact us and we'll get you somebody in the security group that can help you out.
Senator Gillis?
Yeah, I had a follow-up. What timeline do you have for expanding the password character set and the length of the passwords? And also, do you plan to introduce two-factor authentication? And what's your specific timeline on that? Like what month, what year?
I'll let Dan speak on the timeline for that, but we are actually introducing multi-factor authentication for faculty and staff right now. I would say that we're 70 to 80% complete. And that was going to actually be a question that I had for you, is when we are completed with faculty and staff, we would like to introduce it for students also, at least on a voluntary basis. I was hoping to gauge whether there was interest in that going forward. I think it will, because most of the phishing attacks that we see, especially lately, are targeted towards students, and they're targeted toward the student listserv. And it would really help if, students had that second form of authentication to protect themselves, so that, if by some chance they did give their credentials to, or clicked on something on an email, they would be protected, and that person not be able to get to their information. So hopefully that answers your question about MFA at least.
So did you have a month in the year?
We do not have a month in the year right now. The month in the year right now is that faculty and staff will be done before the winter break. And then we plan on scheduling the password change and MFA availability for students in the spring semester. So we don't have, I do not have months, weeks, dates for you.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Hens?
So at my place of work, we also deal with a lot of phishing emails at the bank, but we have an Outlook shortcut that is like it's a fish alert, And I was just wondering if that would be something that we could implement for students in their emails.
Yeah, maybe if you could send us more information on that, we could take a look at it and see. Yeah, it might be a third party. It is interesting. The phishing emails that you see are just a few of thousands of phishing emails that we block every day. So it is just, you just see a few of just the thousands that are blocked, just every day. It is an ongoing battle.
Financial Officer Beck.
Hey guys, thank you so much for coming out tonight. So as I were talking about MFA earlier, are you guys thinking about doing texting, or like Microsoft Authenticator? What kind of thing?
It'd be both of those. You'll
Both
have
of
your
those?
choice.
Cool.
You'll be able to use the Microsoft Authenticator app,
Mhm.
or you could have a code texted to you, either one.
Perfect.
And if you don't have a cell, well, let's just stick with those two for now.
Yeah, perfect. I had one more question for you. As far as phishing emails are concerned, I get like 3 or 4 of the exact same one in a week, and I'll send them all to like phishing and everything like that. What's your estimated turnaround for like elimination of that particular phishing email usually? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Jeff Laughlin, who is our CISO in charge of the security group, he would be better able to answer that. When they have a phishing email that is directed to phishing at EDU, they investigate each of those and investigate how far that it proceeded for each individual student. So a lot of times, we have to lock the account, we have to reset the password. With phishing, it is really tough because once, say once I fall for a phishing email and I click and I give my credentials, it is very difficult at that point because then that person can send emails as me. And then at that point, it's not an external email that we're trying to stop. It is me. It's an internal email that looks like an email from me. So in a lot of times it gets very complicated trying to actually stop those because it almost snowballs, and eventually we can get it stopped. But a lot of times it takes a while.
Thank you.
Internal Affairs Officer Salau.
I was curious about a timeline for when you plan to have new routers in Cougar Village, because I think it's a problem for many students. That's where they have a lot of issues with Wi-Fi.
We've ordered access points, and unfortunately, due to the global supply chain shortages, we've not received them, and we don't have an estimated delivery date from the manufacturer.
Okay.
President Odell.
Hi, thank you guys so much again for coming out. I just have a question about students having access to the Adobe Creative Lab. I know this used to be something that we had, and it seems that it's not available to students anymore. Do you know if that is still something that's provided to us?
Actually, it should still be available. So.
Much more efficient. So right now, Creative Cloud is available for students who are in classes that the professor has requested access for their students. There was a time when everybody had access to Creative Cloud. That was towards the beginning of the pandemic. Adobe decided that they were going to kind of open it up to everybody and say that licenses don't matter. We're going to give this to everybody. Once they pulled that back, which was fairly quick, then it came back to where there was a limit of licenses. And so the current program is when a professor has requested access, we have a bucket of EIDs basically that we take the entire class roster of that class, and they are put in that list where they can access, they can use one of the licenses for Creative Cloud.
Okay, and is it then ultimately up to the professor to make their students aware that they have that?
Well, yes,
Okay.
if they've made it. And usually what we do is when a student contacts us and requests Creative Cloud for a class, we will reach out to the professor and tell them to reach out to the professor because two is probably better than one. And we'll just let them know. And then if the professor feels that that's something they want for their class, they'll request it and we'll throw the class on that group. We basically just need the request to come from the professor. So we kind of just hit them from both sides to see if they want that class to have the access.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Senator Richards.
Hi, thank you again for coming out. I was just wondering if you guys have any ideas or initiatives that you are gearing towards the use of the student fee dollars and what you plan to do with that.
That's a great question. Our fee dollars go to our software renewals most of the time. So we have probably over, I would say around $2 million worth of software renewals that we have every year. And they usually increase about 10% every year. So that's where most of our fee dollars go. So Blackboard, is probably $400,000 per year, something in that neighborhood. Some are expensive like that one, some are not as expensive. But during COVID, we've had to increase a lot of our licensing, like Zoom, we've had to expand our licensing. Respondus, we've had to expand our licensing. So that's where most of our licensing goes. We are talking about maybe a laptop. We have laptops that we can check out to students. We're looking at a way that maybe we can expand that, because just lately we've had really a run on those laptops, and it seems to be, at first it was kind of slow, and now it seems like it is turning to be a pretty popular program. So we'd like to maybe find a way that we could turn that into a sustainable program. And then we're always using it to, work on the network, as we say, as Dan says, we're always expanding. And yeah, that's a good question.
President Odell.
I just have a quick follow-up to the Adobe question. Whenever a professor requests that service for their students, is there a course fee charge on that, or how is that funded?
I don't believe so. I apologize. I'm the person they call and ask to be put on the list, and then I transfer you to the person that that actually knows how the list works. But no, I don't think so. Basically, sorry, I'm getting the SPSS request mixed up with the Adobe request, and I want to make sure I've got those two accurate. I don't think so. I believe that it's just if it's course related, he can then add it. Now, if there is a set amount, and so that being the process hasn't been an issue because of the folks asking and the numbers of the licenses have not bumped into each other yet. So if tomorrow everybody wanted it, then there might have to be a change looked at on how those are divvied out. But right now they're still under their, we're afraid of the licensing number. So
Okay, so there's like the Adobe has like a set amount of licenses that we have at SIUE, and which is by request, and once that maxes out, then
and so they're always kind of trying to keep that as this many leave the club, this many can come in, sort of thing.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Speaking of SPSS, that is one of the licenses that we revamped over the COVID period, whereas before that was only available in the computer labs. Now you can download it to your own computer and use it. So yes, fun for everyone, yes.
I will now entertain a motion to close the floor for discussion. Senator Shahan,
I move to close the floor for discussion.
moved by Senator Shahan. Do we have a second? Senator Gillis. Second. Seconded by Senator Gillis. The floor is now closed for discussion. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
All right, moving on to line item 4, approval of minutes from October 25th, 2021. I will now entertain a motion for approval. Senator Burnett,
I move to approve line item for approval of minutes, October 25th, 2021.
Moved by Senator Burnett. Do we have a second? Senator Hens? Seconded by Senator Hens. We will now proceed with a roll call vote. Acclamation has been called. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion has passed. All right, moving on to line item 5, Senate reports. I'll hand it over to the secretary.
Senator Abrigo. Senator Blickon.
My report's in the packet. I attended a student panel last week for interviewees at the dental school, and next week I'll be on another student panel here at SIUE for students in the Pre-Dental Association.
Senator Burbach.
My report is in the packet. Me and the other College of Arts and Science senators had a meet and greet today. And that went really, really well. We got a lot of feedback regarding specifically dining services. And there was a student who wanted more like awareness of campus events for upperclassmen and people who do not live on campus. I also sent out an introduction email, and I plan on sending out a survey tomorrow for anybody who is not able to attend our meet and greet today.
Senator Burnett.
My report was in the packet, and I attended Finance Board and SOAB last week, and we will hear more about those in a little bit. So I'll leave it at that.
Senator Byers.
So my report is in the packet. As far as an update about the free dental clinic for students, I know now that, so we have the faculty set up because since we're not licensed dentists, we need to have an actual dentist overseeing us. So I have a faculty member that's willing to do that. As far as like a day, it'll most likely be a Tuesday afternoon. As far as like the date, I don't have that yet. I still have to work with health services for that. Most likely, if this first one goes well, I think the dental school will want to keep it going and turn it into kind of like a thing that'll hopefully happen maybe like once every other month or something like that. But as far as the details on that, I don't have those yet.
Senator Kaysen.
My report is in the packet, and then I just wanted to add that I signed up for the leadership lunch this week, and I'm super excited to attend that.
Senator Chukwu.
My report is in the packet. I am also happy to be here.
Senator Demers.
My report's also in the packet, and I'm looking forward to my housing committee meeting tomorrow.
Senator Francis.
My report is also in the packet, and I am looking forward to attending the leadership lunch on Wednesday.
Senator Ford.
My report is also in the packet, and I have an external affairs meeting tomorrow at 7.
Senator Gillis.
My report's in the packet, and I look forward to helping out with the annual engineering organization funding presentations, which will be on Friday.
Senator Hens.
As my fellow CAS senator mentioned, we did have a meeting today, and we had a big turnout, about 5 students. We gave out most of our cookies, chocolate chip and oatmeal raisins seemed to be a big hit. We did get some good feedback, and I think that a lot of our constituents were happy to see us. As for my committee meetings, I still have not heard from the Student Publication Committee. And my meeting for ICAC was pushed back from October to November, and then it was canceled. So we will not have another meeting for that committee until December.
Senator Huang.
My report is in the package, and I really enjoyed the meeting with our constituents.
Senator Holzhauser.
My report is in the packet, and I would like to add, since the last Senate meeting, I was able to table for Mental Health Week, as well as sit on a student panel for prospective School of Pharmacy students.
Senator Jones.
My report is in the packet. I had a COA meeting last Friday. I'll have more about that in my next Senate report. My University Planning and Budget Committee was canceled for this Friday. We also need another student representative for that. I will be planning a activities fair in the School of Engineering in the next week. So that's all.
Senator Richards. My report is in the packet. I attended some of the mental health week events and I really enjoyed them. I'm really looking forward to the bonding event on Wednesday and the pumpkin smash on Friday. I did want to say thank you to Senator Ford for distributing a survey that I had developed to her constituents. Thank you. I really appreciate that. This week on Wednesday, I am meeting with the Office of Academic Advising to continue working on pre-advising. I'm going to be sitting in on some different advising appointments and then moving forward with hopefully distributing that to students and eventually working on the different schools buying into that. So I'm really excited.
Senator Shahan.
My report is in the packet. I first just wanted to highlight that most of my report is evaluation of how mental health week went. So if you're interested in seeing what kind of the strengths and weaknesses were of that event planning, definitely check that out. Right now, since that has ended, I'm working on revisiting some of my initiatives from the beginning of the semester and planning a large scale meet and greet / town hall with Senator Richards for the beginning of the spring semester. I have an external affairs meeting tomorrow at 7. I just wanted to thank Senator Richards as well for kind of picking up the academic advising aspect of what we kind of discussed as initiatives.
Moving on to line item 6, executive reports. I'll hand it back over to the secretary.
President Odell.
Okay, my report is in the packet. I am attending the bonding event this Wednesday, and I'm really excited about that. So kudos to Ramat for the hard work she's put in there. Just a reminder that the leadership lunch is this Wednesday with Dr. Dan Mahoney coming to that. So if you are available at that time, I'd love to see you there. The pumpkin smash event is this Friday. Just another reminder to attend that or sign up to help out if you can. I would love to see all of you at that as well. And I attended our CAST senators table today in Science East when they were tabling. So kudos to you guys for all your hard work.
Vice President Pruitt.
My report is in the packet, and I just want to say I'm very excited for all the events that are happening this week, like the leadership lunch, the Veterans Day luncheon, and the pumpkin smash. And I'm excited to see how those go.
Student Trustee Walters.
My report is in the packet, and I do have an addition. Jacob Jurnek was one of the victims killed last Friday at the Astro World Music Festival in Houston. He was a junior journalism major at Southern Illinois Carbondale. So please keep his family and friends in Carbondale in your thoughts.
Financial Officer Beck.
My report is in the packet. I have been answering emails about program requests and organizations getting money. And I also had a finance board meeting last week, and that was with the American College Dance Association. And we'll talk about that more later.
Internal Affairs Officer Salau.
My report is in the packet, and I'm very excited to be planning our next bonding event on Wednesday. I'm also excited to attend the pumpkin smashing event, to attend Veterans Day luncheon. And I look forward to all the events. And I also wanted to let you know that if you would like to sign the condolence card for Senator Obert, I have it with me if you want that later.
External Affairs Officer Randolph.
My report is in the packet. Just a couple reminders that Veterans Day luncheon is Thursday, and I am very excited to meet and engage with all the veterans and the active duty military that will be present there. And our next event after that will be Winter Wishes, and everything is on plan for that so far. And I look forward to the bonding event on Wednesday, and also I have a External Affairs Committee meeting tomorrow at 7.
Organization Relations Officer Mormon.
My report is in the packet, and I also just wanted to give another shout out to Lexi and Molly for coming to the last SOAB meeting, so we were able to have a quorum.
Student Diversity Officer Gorin.
My report is not in the packet, but since the last Senate meeting, I attended the 4th Chancellor Candidate Session on the 28th of October. It was great to get to know Dr. Robert Mack a little bit. I also attended the Edwardsville Halloween Parade, which I really enjoyed. Kudos to External Affairs Officer Randolph for planning that. I'm looking forward to the Veterans Day luncheon and the bonding event. I also wanted to mention that the Instagram account, I just want to boost that again. Please follow it. If you haven't, it's SIUE Your Story. Just search that and you can follow us, and please share our post. And then I also wanted to say that it is Native American Heritage Month. So please attend those events. There will be a calendar of events shared to to the Hub's website very shortly. They're still working on getting that PDF approved, though. All of the events are virtual, so you can attend them on Zoom, and I have put all of them up on the calendar in the student government office.
Moving on to line item 7, additions to agenda. Seeing none, we will move on to line item 8, old business. Seeing none, we will move on to line item 9, new business. Starting with section 1, travel requests, subsection A, fiscal year 21, travel request for the University Dance Organization. I will now hand it over to Financial Officer Beck.
All right. So at Finance Board last week, we had a travel request for the University Dance Organization, and they were requesting $600 to go to their dance conference, which is March 4th to March 8th in 2022. And this is like a dance conference and also a competition. So it's like a 3-day event. They sometimes get to go to a 4th day if they do well the first 2 or 3 competitions. Along with that, they're going to be bringing people from freshman all the way to senior class. So it's going to be a lot of people that can bring back information to help out SIUE and teach them the ways of the dance and that kind of stuff. And then lastly, they've also been fundraising for this event for the past 3 years. So they do have some money that has been put aside that they've really been looking forward to go to this. With all that being said, at Finance Board, we did put it to a vote for approval and it did pass. So, yeah.
All right, I will now entertain a motion to open the floor for discussion. All right, I will now entertain a motion for approval. Senator Shahan?
I move to approve line item 9, subsection 1, travel request, subsection A, fiscal year 21 travel request, University Dance Organization for the amount of $600.
All right, moved by Senator Shahan. Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Huang. We will now proceed with a roll call vote. Acclamation has been called. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion has passed. Congratulations. All right, moving on to section 2, student organization name change. I will now hand it over to Organization Relations Officer Mormon.
All right, so for the name change, the Pediatric Pharmacy Advocacy Group is wanting to change their name to the Pediatric Pharmacy Association. This is just to align with their national group. And this was also voted on and approved at SOA.
I will now entertain a motion to open the floor for discussion. Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion for approval. Senator Burnett?
I move to approve line item 9, subsection 2, student organization name change from Pediatric Pharmacy Advocacy Group to Pediatric Pharmacy Association.
Moved by Senator Burnett. Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Richards. We will now proceed with a roll call vote.
Acclamation.
Acclamation has been called. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion is passed. Congratulations. All right, moving on to section 3, petitioning organization, subsection A, Association of Black Student Social Workers. I will now hand it back to Organization Relations Officer Mormon.
All right, so for this organization, to provide structures through which social work students can exchange ideas, engage in training, and work to develop programs that promote social justice, provide cultural awareness, and address the needs of social work students. And this was voted on and approved by SOB.
I will now entertain a motion to open the floor for discussion. Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion for approval. Senator Gillis?
I move to approve line item 9, new business. Section 3, petitioning organization, subsection A, Association of Black Student Social Workers.
Moved by Senator Gillis. Do we have a second? Seconded by Senator Hens. We will now proceed with a roll call vote.
Acclamation.
Acclamation has been called. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion has passed. Congratulations. All right, moving on to line item 10, presidential and personnel appointments. Seeing none, I will now move on to line item 11, open forum. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to approach the Senate, please do so now. The Senate is not required to respond. All right, Seeing none, we will now move on to line item 12, announcements. Anyone with an announcement may speak now.
I apologize for my raspy voice. Those of you who follow me on social media know I ran a half marathon on Saturday and my reward was sore legs and a runny nose. I have very good news to share with you all. My thanks go out to President Odell, Vice President Pruitt, and Student Trustee Walters, and the rest of you who pushed this issue along to fix the student employment for summer. So I'm very happy to announce that I've worked with HR and we will be, there's 2 ways now that a student can be employed in the summer. One is you can take classes and you don't have to pay withholding tax, FICA withholding tax, or you don't have to be enrolled and you just have to pay FICA taxes, the FICA taxes. So you no longer have to be enrolled to work in the summer. I know that's been an issue and we resolved it, and we'll be putting it officially into writing within the next week or 2, and then getting that information out to the hiring managers all over campus. And students in the summer can work 28 hours. And like I said, you no longer have to be enrolled. So yay, yes, clap for that, because thank you for the. I've worked here, this is my 7th year as the vice chancellor. It took us 7 years to resolve this, and really it was a quick fix, and thank you for pushing. Thank you, Haley. That's it. That's all I got, unless you have questions.
I have a
for me about
question for
anything.
you, actually, if you don't mind.
No.
So you said that if you don't take classes, you have to like pay a tax. Do you know what
If you-
that like looks like, or how much?
It's a
that is?
FICA tax, it's a FICA withholding tax, so much like you take taxes out of a paycheck.
Okay.
It's just, and it's not, it's a few dollars. off
Okay,
of a
I was just
paycheck. So,
curious about if that tax was.
Yeah,
a
and that was
lot
the
or
issue.
something.
Whether the university was going to cover FICA taxes or not, or whether we would put that on the students, but it's a small withholding tax, much like they hold taxes, income tax, and those type of things. Good question.
It's like 7.65%. Okay, I did the class last week.
7.65% for anyone who needed that.
Around-
That's
around
what.
there.
Well, thanks.
Thank you.
Cool, that's
Are
it.
there any questions for Dr. Waple? No? Thank you.
Sure.
First things first is, hi, everyone. This week is Veterans Celebration Week. So there's events going on throughout in addition to our Veterans Luncheon. Additionally, it's also the First Generation Celebration Week, so celebrating first-gen students, which is a collaboration of events between SIUC and SIUE. We also have our space allocation process for Kimmel desk space and locker space is now open and will be closing on November 19th at 4:30. So please know that if you're in any organizations, pass that along also to your constituents. They have the last flu shot clinic is November 9th for the semester from 10 to noon down in the SSC. So if you're having on your flu shot and would like to do that, you can do that here. Additionally, on Friday is SIUE's preview day. It's from their report in our meeting last week. It is their largest RSVP that they've had so far. They're also anticipating a lot of walk-ins because of the fact that many schools are giving their students a break for the Veterans Day holiday and then also giving them the Friday off. On Friday, CAB will be showing the 2021 Candyman movie. So if you're interested in that, you can go see that. And then one of the things that we are working with, the student government is working on, Haley and I are working with partners across the university, we're creating a survey regarding textbooks and how you all receive your textbooks, whether you receive them from textbook services or getting them online. Student government exec has agreed that student government will be sponsoring 3 gift cards to help promote students filling out that survey. So we'll be releasing information about that. So when you get the survey, please make sure you fill it out yourself, but you also encourage your peers so that we can better improve textbook services here on campus. And then lastly, you all only have 9 days left of class until the Thanksgiving break. So cheers to that. And additionally, though, is while this is our first and last November Senate meeting, we still have one in December. And like, let's just finish the semester strong. Y'all been super impressive. This is for my first semester, and I can't wait for us to finish on a high note before we go into the spring semester as well. All right. So if you all need anything, feel free to email, reach out. I'm always just an email or message away. Thank you all.
Thank you, Liz. Does anyone else have an announcement? I did want to mention that I will be doing Center of the Month next month. I thought that 2 weeks was maybe not enough time, but I didn't forget about you guys. I will be doing that the next meeting. Just want to let you know. So is everyone good with announcements? Good. Okay. Moving on to line item 13, adjournment. I will entertain a motion for adjournment. Senator Hens.
I move to adjourn this meeting.
All right. Moved by Senator Hens. I adjourn this meeting